Hey, welcome everybody to our continuing 1979 Mets replay. We are in Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. It's going to be Pete Falcone for the Mets facing Phil Niekro for the Braves. Pete Falcone had an interesting season. His ERA was not too bad at 4.16, but his one-loss record was 6 wins and 14 losses. He's a left-hander, age 26, and then it was Phil Niekro, age 40 in 79. He had 44 games started, 23 complete games, so you know he's going this game. 21 and 20 with a 3.39 ERA, so he's very unusual as well. So it's going to be an interesting game. We're ready to start. It's going to be the Mets leading it off. I don't know why I have this. So the Mets are leading it off. They're the visiting team. Let's go quickly over the lineup for the Mets. It's Youngblood batting first, playing right field. Taveras. Second place batter at shortstop. Third place batter is Lee Mazzilli. Richie Hebner, the cleanup spot at third base. Montanez at first base, batting fifth. Henderson in left field, batting sixth. Trevino, he's relieving Stearns for today at catcher. He's going to be batting seventh. Batting eighth is Doug Flynn, the second baseman, and then the pitcher is in the ninth spot. And we're ready to get started. For the defense for the Braves, it's Jeff Burrows in left, Bunnell in center, Matthews in right, Royster third, Frias at short, Hubbard at second, Horner at first. Behind the plate is Bruce Benedict, and the pitcher is Phil Niekro. Play ball. And it's Niekro gets a sign. And Youngblood is patient. A patient 48 is going to be lined, base hit center field. So Youngblood is on with a single off Niekro, and he's a threat to steal if you roll a 4 or less, and we roll a 3, so he's going to be going. Now, we should have looked at the catcher's arm before we did that, but hell, we'll test it out right now. Bruce Benedict is a forearm, so we're going to be running on him. So a Youngblood's a C, you can see that on the card. A C4. It's going to be a C4 is going to be very good. So we're going to be running on him throughout the game as much as possible. I'm going to pull a card. Very good is safe. So Youngblood steals second base. That puts him in scoring position. And it's Frankie Taveras, the shortstop. And he's patient, but it's a 95. So that's going to be a fly ball to left. Fly ball to Burrows, and let's take a look at Burrows' arm here, just out of curiosity, an 8 arm. Because under patient, when there's a fly ball, I believe, let's see what the rule is here. Patient, 95, so it's a fly ball to left field. And I'm going to check something out here, fly out. So it says, patient, runner on third may attempt to score. If no runner on third, runner on second may attempt to move to third base, coach's choice chart. So Youngblood, there's nobody out, so I probably won't try that right now. But the Youngblood is a 7, so if I rolled 7 or less, he would make it to third base. If I rolled 8 or more, he would be thrown out. But I'm going to bypass that since there's no outs right now. That's going to be the first out, the fly out by Taveras. Burrows makes the catch. Now it's Lee Mazzilli. He's the Mets' top batter, switch hitter. And that's going to be a patient 71, and that's going to be sharp liner into center field, drops in front of Bunnell, plays it on a hop, and that's going to score Youngblood. He's being waved around third. There'll be no throw, so it's an RBI single for Mazzilli, and the Mets are up 1-0. Now the Mets are on a four-game winning streak, so everything seems to be going the Mets' way right now. Now, Lee Mazzilli is going to try to steal. We need a 5 or less for him, and we roll a 7, so he does not go. Next up is the lefty Richie Hebner, cleanup batter for the Mets. That's a 698, which is a tough out. So that's going to be a 98, which is a fly to right. Mazzilli scampers back to first. And Willie Montanez, lefty first baseman. That's in play 0-9. In play 0-9 is going to be a line drive into left field. Runner advances one base, but with 2 outs, Mazzilli's he was on the run already, so he's going to take the extra base. First and third now. Montanez with a single. We'll double check that. Just 8 was in play 0-9. Yeah. Single off a righty. All right, Stevie Henderson. First and third, 2 outs. Mets are up 1-0, top of the first. That's a 6. It's a tough out. 67. So we go to 67. Now, the tough out means that it's an automatic out. There's no hits on this tough out situation. So that's a 67, which is going to take it from actually being a hit on Henderson's card. It's going to take it to being a ground ball second base. Hubbard throws him out. Side retired. Mets up 1-0. They pick up 1 run on 3 hits. Up comes the Braves. Jerry Royster's leading it off. Pete Falcone on the mound. Pitch from Falcone. It's put in Royster's wheelhouse. And his wheelhouse, a 34 against a lefty, is going to be a pop-up to the right side. Doug Flynn calls for it, makes the catch. 1 down. Gary Matthews, the batter, is a righty. And that's in play 70. And that's going to be fly to center. Mazzilli waits for it, makes the catch. 2 down. And it's Bob Horner. He hit 2 home runs against the Mets yesterday. This is going to be a tough pitch. And it's going to be a grounded short. Taveras fires to first. Side retired. Mets are coming to bat with Trevino, Flynn, and Falcone. On the mound for the for the Braves is 40-year-old Phil Niekro. Patient 49 is going to be a hit by pitch, so Trevino's on. Gets plunked. It's not rubbing it, but he's not happy. And it's Doug Flynn now. Actually, let's see. Do we roll for? Yeah, we'll roll for Trevino, and that's a 9, so we'll re-roll that. And that's going to be a 4. In play 62. And that's going to be a grounded to second. That 4 is going to turn into a 4-6-3 double play, so there's 2 outs. So that was a nice turn. Hubbard, Frias, Horner. And it's Pete Falcone. That's a 5 as a pitcher. A patient 85. Grounded to short. And that'll be it. Go to the bottom of the second. Jeff Burrows, the batter. In play 69. Grounded to second base. Flynn to Montanez. Retires Burrows. 1 out. Barry Bonnell. That was a 5. And it's an 8-86. And that's going to be a grounded to short again. 2 outs. Bonnell retired for the second out, and it's Glenn Hubbard with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Right-handed second baseman. That's defense. I can't even see what that is in there. Defense. It was defense 38. So defense 38. We're going to pull the card. It's error second base. 38. Let's see if he's a 3 or lower or higher. No, 3 or lower. Then it's going to be a hit. So we have to check Flynn, and Flynn's a 4. So it won't be that goes 1 to 33 is an error on a 4. So we roll the 38, so it's going to be an out. Let's see what kind of out. It's to second base. It's going to be a ground ball for the 3rd out. Flynn flips to Montanez. And the side is retired, 1-2-3. Phil Niekro versus Youngblood. Youngblood's 1-for-1 today. Here's the pitch to Youngblood. And that's a tough out, 48. It's going to be popped up to the left side. Frias is there. Frank Taveras now, who's flied out in his earlier at bat. Snake Eyes defense, 97. That's outside of the hit range and outside of the error range. So we're going to just pull a card. It's a ground ball to Frias. Fires to first. Gets Taveras. Mazzilli. Wheelhouse 80. And that's going to be a deep fly to center field. Back goes Bunnell to the track and makes the catch. We go to the bottom of the third. 1-0 Mets. Bruce Benedict, the catcher. And that's an 8, which is patient 82. That's a grounder to short. Taveras throws him out. Pepper Frias. Ballpark 37 for a righty. That's going to be Wheelhouse. It's going to roll in the Wheelhouse. 1-29 is a hit. We roll an 18. That's going to be a single. Actually, it was 1-38. We rolled an 18. It's a single for Frias. So he's on at first. That was going to be a bunt. Phil Niekro's an A bunter. And sacrifice to the first baseman. He tags Niekro, and Frias moves to second. So Frias is in scoring position with 2 outs, and it's Jerry Royster. Here's the pitch from Falcone, and that's ballpark 67. Again, a righty. That's going to be Wheelhouse. We're rolling in the Wheelhouse, 1-33, and that's a 48. That'll be a grounder to third. Hebner fires to first for the third out. Side retired. So the Braves leave 1 stranded at second base. And it's a 1-0 game in the top of the fourth. Richie Hebner, he's 0-for-1. He flied out earlier. And that's a tough out, 13. It's a strikeout. Hey, man. Good morning, Larry. Let's see, that was a strikeout. So down on strikes goes Hebner. And it's Willie Montanez. Patient 11. It's going to be a base on ball, so Montanez is on for the second time. He singled the first at bat. So Montanez is on at first. There's 1 out. We're in the top of the fourth. It's a 1-0 Mets lead. The Mets are on a 4-game winning streak. And it's going to be Steve Henderson, who was robbed of a hit earlier on with a tough out. A 6 roll on Niekro's card is something called a tough out, where in the tough range you don't get a chance to give up a hit, or the batter doesn't get a chance to get a hit on that pitch, which is probably his knuckleball. All right, so here's the pitch to Steve Henderson. We're going to see what that ends up being. So that's a patient 90. That's going to be in the out range for sure. It's a grounder to shortstop. We rolled a 9. That may be above the DP range, and it is. So it's going to be a 6-3. Oh, no, actually, it's a fielder's choice. Excuse me. So that's Frias to Hubbard. And the throw to first, not in time. Alex Trevino now. 2 outs. He was hit by a pitch in his first at bat. And that's Wheelhouse, 32. A 32 Wheelhouse is going to be right outside the hit range in the Wheelhouse section. Takes us to 32. It's going to be popped up right side. And that's Horner makes the catch. All right. So we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. 1-0 the score. Pete Falcone and Phil Niekro locked in a pitcher's duel thus far. Tough. 18, that's a strikeout. Matthews down on strikes. Caught looking at an inside pitch, and it's Bob Horner, and that's tough 30. Now, if there's somebody on base, that would have been a wild pitch. Tough 30 is a strikeout. Back-to-back strikeouts for Pete Falcone, who's finding his groove right now. And it's in play 42. And that's going to be popped up to the left side. Frankie Taveras calls the ball and makes the catch. For you kids out there, you don't want to be calling, "I got it." Too many words. And it sometimes can be mistaken for "you got it." So if there's two guys going for a ball and one guy screaming, "I got it," and sometimes because of the wind, because of it may sound like "got it." You may just hear "got it," and that could be "you got it" or "I got it." I don't know who's got it, and it drops. So you call ball, and you're saying, "I got it," without having to go through that whole confusion. Here's Doug Flynn with nobody out. Phil Niekro, knuckleball. It's a tough out, 24. That's a strikeout. Flynn looked perplexed there. And it's Falcone now with one out. He's a 5 pitcher hitting card. It's a 7, tough, 26. That's going to be a strikeout. And now it's Joe Youngblood. He's 1 for 2. He's singled and flied out. That's in play 19. It's going to be a base hit. So Youngblood singled and stole second in the first inning, later scored. He's going to try to run here. Youngblood needs a 4 or less to run. Let's see what we roll here, and we do not get it. Frankie Taveras, that's a 10 wheelhouse, 98. That's way in the out range. That's going to be a deep fly to left field. Burrows back and makes the catch. That retires the side. Bottom of the 5th, it's the Braves. Bring up Bennell, Hubbard, and Benedict. Barry Bennell is 0 for 1. He grounded out. The pitch from Falcone is a tough pitch. Tough 46 is going to be a ground ball up the middle and through to center field for a hit. Get a lot of hits off the tough range. Now Bennell is a threat to steal, so we're going to roll 4 or less. We do not get it. So Bennell is on at first. There's nobody out. Glenn Hubbard. And Glenn Hubbard bunts at a D, but we're going to bunt it in this situation. And it's a successful sacrifice. Trevino throws over to the second baseman covering, and Bennell hustles over to second. It's going to be 2-4 if you're keeping score at home. It's Bruce Benedict now. Benedict is 0 for 1. He grounded out. Here's the pitch from Falcone. That's a tough 47. This may be trouble. Tough 47 is outside the hit range. Has to be a grounded to third. Hebner scoops it, looks Bennell back to second, fires to first. Oh, and just gets Benedict hustling down the line. Bennell holds at second base. There's 2 outs now, and it's Pepe Frias. Now, Pepe batted .293 versus lefty, so we may just walk him to get to the pitcher, Phil Niekro, who's got a pitcher hitting card of a 9. Not too bad, but nowhere near Pepe Frias' almost 300 batting average. So we're going to walk Frias. Hopefully this doesn't come back to bite Torrey. Intentional walk to the 8th place batter, Frias, to get to the pitcher here, Phil Niekro. Here's the pitch to Phil. It's an 8, patient 11. It's going to be a base on balls. And now you're faced with the 269 hitter in Jerry Royce with 2 outs and the base is loaded. So it may, you don't know, with that roll, now you could be facing the pitcher. 1-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. The bases are loaded. Phil Niekro is at first. Pepe Frias is at second. Barry Bennell is at third. There's 2 outs. The batter is Jerry Royster. He's 0 for 2. He's flied out and grounded out. Now Royster has a batting average of 269 versus lefties with a 346 on base percentage. So here's the pitch from Falcone to Jerry Royster, right-handed batter. And that's a 9. That's going to be patient 71. A patient 71 is going to be an out. Fly ball skied to center. Mazzilli coming in. Tavera's going back. And Mazzilli's there. Puts it away. Side retired. Lee Mazzilli is going to be starting it off for the Mets here in the top of the 6th inning. It's a 1-0 ball game. The pitch to Mazzilli, ballpark 46, a righty, falls within the 1 to 88 range. So we're now looking at a potential wheelhouse, 1 to 24, and that ball's gone. And we roll a 52, and it's right outside of hit range. And that's a grounder to third. Royster fires to first. Mazzilli by half a step, 1 away. Richie Hebner. That's a tough out, 38. Grounded first, Horner. Flips to Negro covering. 2 down. And it's Willie Montanez, who's 1 for 1 with a walk. That's in play 47. And that's a grounded to third again, Royster. 5-3. That retires the side. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, 1-0 Mets. Now the Mets have a couple of pitchers up in the bullpen. Got to take a quick peek and see who's out there. This is game 2 of a 3-game set. The Mets won the first game. And in the bullpen for the Mets, it looks like it's Scott and Twitchell warming up out there. And now it's Pete Falcone facing Gary Matthews. Gary Matthews batted .305 versus lefties. That's a 10. In play 56. In play 56. Fly to right field. Youngblood to the line and makes a nice catch. Bob Horner. That's patient. A patient 83. It's a ground that is short. Taveras to his left. Throws on the run and gets Horner. Horner not what you would say fleet of foot. Pete Falcone to Jeff Burrows, who's 0 for 2, grounded out and flied out. It's an 8, patient 43. Patient 43. It's going to be a base on ball, so Burrows works the count and walks to first. And it's Barry Bonnell. He's 1 for 2. He's grounded out and singled. Burrows is not a threat to steal with 2 stolen bases and 2 caught stealing, but what the heck? Nope, not going to happen. Okay, here's the pitch to Bonnell. Ballpark 23. That's going to put it in the wheelhouse. Bonnell's a righty, and he's got some power. He hit 12 home runs and 350 at bats, approximately. So that's going to be trouble right there. 1 to 9 is a home run. 1 to 33 is going to be some sort of hit, and you run the danger of doubles and triples here in this situation. So we're going to roll 2d10, see what happens. Situation right now, there's 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Jeff Burrows, not really the most fleet of foot. He's only a 5-run rating. Burrows on at first. Barry Bonnell with an extra base hit, potential extra base hit here. And that's a 0-8. That's a deep drive to left field. Back goes Henderson to the track, to the wall. It's out of here. The Braves lead it 2-1. Barry Bonnell connects. And Pete Falcone wishes he had that pitch back. So we rolled a 0-8 on the wheelhouse versus the lefties. 1 to 9 is a home run. So Bonnell stings the Mets. And it's Glenn Hubbard. And we're going to put Glenn Hubbard into a sleeve. I've been kind of manhandling him a little bit. And I don't want to be abused to start wearing his card down. So it's Glenn Hubbard with 2 outs. So it's a 2-out, 2-run home run. Puts the Braves up 2-1 here. And one more. The patient 90. That's going to be a ground that is short. Taveras throws out Hubbard, and that retires the side. But the damage has been done. Barry Bonnell strikes again. The Met killer. Phil Niekro climbs the hill. He's going to be facing Steve Henderson. The pitch from Niekro, that's in play, 85. That's going to be way out of range. For a hit, it's a ground that is short. 1 down. Alex Trevino now, he's 0 for 1. Hit by pitch and flied out. We're looking at a tough 61. And that's a pop-up to the right side. It looks like Horner. Horner wants it and makes the catch. 2 down. And it's Doug Flynn. Pitch to Flynn is ballpark. A ballpark 34 puts it into the wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 1 to 32 will be a hit. 1 to 5 is a home run, and we'll have a tie ball game. A 93 won't do it, and that's a fly ball left center field. And Burrows there makes the catch, retires the side. Now, for the Mets, Pete Falcone is due up the next inning, so he's going to try to get through this inning because he'll be pinch hit for next inning to start the inning off. But you never know. Let's see what happens. There is action in the Met bullpen. Scott and Twitchell out there. And that's a 10 in play, 95. It's a fly out, skied to left. Henderson, 1 down. Pepe Frias. Frias is 1 for 1. Single and an intentional walk. That's a tough pitch, 19. That's a strikeout. Frias down on strikes, went after the high cheese sandwich. And it's pitcher now, Phil Niekro, on a wheelhouse, 42. That's going to be out range. Popped up, Taveras. Side retired. I have a pinch hitter here against Niekro. And I have my my trusty baseball almanac opened on the left side on a 17-inch laptop. Kranepool pinch hit in this game, and I love bringing in good old Ed Kranepool, veteran Ed Kranepool for the Mets. He played his whole career in New York. He's from the Bronx. So Kranepool's going to lead it off for P. Falcone. Now I'll give you the... Just trying to track Kranepool here. There he is. All right, Falcone gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and left 4 men on base. And he's done for the day. Ed Kranepool, the batter, lefty versus Phil Niekro. I'll tell you what Kranepool's batting. I'll just click on him. And Kranepool's 9 for 33, batting .273 so far this season. He's had 36 plate appearances. 1 home run for Ed Kranepool. Here's the pitch. 5, patient. So that's going to be 21. That's going to be a base on ball. So Kranepool gets the job done, and as a leadoff batter, gets on base. That's what you want your leadoff batter to do. And he's a pretty good, he has good instincts on the bases, so the Mets are actually going to leave him in to run. All right. Joel Youngblood. Actually, you know what? No. 5, patient. 87. And that's not going to be good. That's a ground ball, shortstop. And Frias to Hubbard to Horner. And that's a double play. 2 out. 6-4-3. Not what the Mets had in mind. Frankie Taveras with 2 outs. Patient 53. That's going to be an outrange. Grounded to third. Jerry Royster up with it. Fires to first and gets Taveras hustling down the line by half a step. That retires the side. So after that leadoff walk, it was a double play and a ground out. And we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Mets' 4-game win streak is in jeopardy here late in the game. The Braves are up 2-1. Going to have a new pitcher. It's going to be Twitchell Actually, you know what? It's going to be Scott. Mike Scott's coming in. Scott pitched in this game. I'm going to pop him into the 9 slot. All right, here's the pitch to Royster. Scott is a righty, 1-3 record with a 5.33 ERA in 79. For us, we can take a quick peek at what he's doing here in our season. Pitching wise, he has a 4.27 ERA. Pitched in 46 and a third innings. Allowed 46 hits in 46 innings. And 5 home runs, giving up 5 home runs. Here's the pitch from Scott. That's defense, 53. And it's going to be range second base. That's Flynn. Flynn is a C range. 1 to 42. 1 to 47 would be a hit. We rolled a 53. So that's going to be an out. What kind of an out is it? It's a ground ball. So it's going to be 4-3. Royster is retired. Gary Matthews with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th, a 2-1 Braves lead. Here's the pitch to Matthews. It's a in-play 39. Versus a righty, that's going to be out range. Grounded at first. Montanez flips to Scott covering. 2 away. And Bob Horner now. Bob Horner's 0-for-3. He's grounded out, struck out, and grounded out again. And that's in play 91. So grounded is short. Taveras fires to first. Side retired. We go to the top of the 9th. Last licks for the Mets. Phil Niekro. Phil Niekro completed 23 games in 44 starts, so 50% of the games. So he's here in the 9th, hanging tight. We have some action in the Brave bullpen. Gene Garber is out there. And Lee Mazzilli's going to lead it off now. Lee Mazzilli's the Mets' best hitter. Lee Mazzilli's batting at 370 in these 40. I think this is game 47 or 48. I can't remember off the top of my head. So he's been pounding the ball throughout the season. I guess we've gone over a little bit more than a quarter of the season. So here's the pitch from Niekro. We're in the top of the 9th here, 2-1 Braves. Mets are the visitors, so this is the Mets' last licks, if you will. Ballpark 14. That's going to put it into the wheelhouse, Mazzilli's wheelhouse. And Mazzilli has a decent 24% chance of a home run right now. We need to roll 1 to 24 for a home run, but a 1 to 50 is going to get him a hit. So that's 3 ballpark. We rolled a low number to get it into the wheelhouse range. And here's the pitch. And that's a 65. That won't do it. That's going to be a ground at a second. Hubbard throws out Mazzilli. Mets have had their chances, but the luck has just not been, Lady Luck has not been smiling down upon them. Phil Niekro in play, 76 to Richie Hebner. And that's going to be a fly ball, center field. Barry Bonnell squeezes it, 2 away. And we have Willie Montanez, who's 1 for 2, single walked and grounded out. Here's a pitch from Niekro. And that's a 5. Patient 49. That may get him on base, but no, it's outside the patient range. And that's going to be the ball game. And that's a grounded at Royster over to first. And the Mets' 4-game win streak is done. It's history. It is history. So we're getting the next game ready. The 3rd game in the 3-game set. I'll do the line scores for you. The Mets 1 run, 4 hits, no errors, 4 left on base. The Braves 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, 4 left on base. Phil Niekro the win. Pete Falcone the loss. Pretty interesting game. The Mets held the lead until the bottom of the 6th when Barry Bonnell connected for a 2-run blast that put the Braves up 2-1. And the score remained that way. And again, final score, Braves 2, Mets 1. say so long to the Mets' 4-game win streak. So thanks for stopping by. We'll be running a few games today. The next, I think we play Cincinnati after. We have one more game in Atlanta. And then we go to Cincinnati for 3 games. And then we go back to Shea to face Houston and the Reds and the Braves. It's going to be a 9-game homestand at Shea so we got to do 4 more games on the road, and then we go head back to Shea. So it's going to be Atlanta, and I'll tell you who the pitching matchups in the next game are. I'll even pull those out right now. June 3rd, 1979. Where were you June 3rd, 1979? Pat Zachary. Pat Zachary got picked up in that Seaver trade in 77. The day of infamy for many Mets fans. So Pat Zachary against Mickey Mailer. Mickey Mailer. I think you say it like that. Mahler or Mailer. I can check that out. He's a lefty versus a righty. Mailer's a lefty. I believe it's Mailer. So that's the next pitching matchup. We're going to set this up, and we'll be back in a bit. Probably take a little break, get something to drink, and so forth. It's early in the morning here in San Antonio, 6:40. Started this game around 6 a.m. My son has a varsity game today, so I'll be doing that. He has 1 or 2. They may go to the championship. His team was 5-0 here in local sports. Plays for Clark High School. Third baseman, varsity third baseman. Plays second and short, and he's played all those positions. So anyway, all right. I'll see you guys very soon. Take care. Combat Painter signing off. More